Okay, so today we are going to learn about the inequality. Okay, so we know equality. Equality means like you have two numbers or two expression, mathematical expression, both are equal. Let's say 4 equal to 4 or 2x plus 5 equal to 3x minus 1. So this is a mathematical expression. This is also another mathematical expression. So if they are equal, it shows equality. Now if I say 5 greater than 4, it's not equality, it's inequality. So basically there are two things. One, greater than. Second, less than. There is another thing we'll talk in definition. So these are the basic difference between equality and inequality. Like when you have equal sign, it means it's representing equality. When you have greater than or 4 less than 5, it's inequality. So today we are going to talk about definition and the addition subtraction based on the inequality, multiplication and division, and how to represent inequality on the number line. Then what happens if we take the inverse of inequality, and then transitivity relationship for the inequality. So let's start with the definition. As I was talking about equality, so there could be two types of inequality. One could be strict, that's called greater than or less than. Okay. Another is called non-strict inequality, where like you have equal, greater, less, equal. Okay. So in case of number, let's say 4, we cannot say 4 greater equal 3. Yeah, 4 is greater than 3, but it's not equal to 3. So when we have known values numbers, we go by strict inequality. This is called strict inequality, and this is called non-strict. So the definition of inequality, nothing. It's like for equality you have the equal sign, for the inequality you have greater or less than. Okay, when two relationships or two numbers are represented by less than or greater than relationship, that's part of inequality. So now you understand like what is difference between greater equal, a greater sign, and less equal and less sign. It's a non-strict inequality, and this is strict inequality. But now coming to this example, I said that this is not non-strict inequality. Let's say now we have 2x plus 5 and 3x minus 9, something. We don't know the value of x. And if we say this is greater than this one, so it means the relationship between these two is strict inequality. And if I say greater than equal to, then it means non-strict. Non-strict means it can be greater than, can also be equal to. It can be less than, it can also be equal to. So that's why it's called non-strict. So now let's go to the addition. What happens if we add some number to some inequality? Let's say we have 4 greater than 3. Now if we want to add some positive number, let's say plus 2. So Will the relation change or not? Before writing, tell me. So if I add 2 to this side and 2 to this side, the relation, the sign of this will change. Will it be less than or greater than? It will not change if you add the plus sign. What if you subtract something from this? Will it be same or different? So let's try. 4 plus 5 will be greater than 3 plus 5. So no matter what you are adding here, the relationship will not change. Now let's try a negative number. 4 minus 6 and 3 minus 6. Okay, so this will be minus 2 and this will be minus 3. So did relation change? No, it remains same. So even if you subtract anything, the relationship will not change. And let's subtract negative number. Another example, let's say 10 greater than 8, and you subtract minus 3. Okay, I'm not putting the relationship sign here, and then we'll see will it change or not. Both sides I'm subtracting minus 3, 10 and 8. So this will be 13 and this will be 11. Here also the relationship did not change. So it means if you are given some relationship based on inequality, no matter what number you are adding or subtracting, the relationship will not change. Similarly, for expression with variables, let's say 2x plus 3 is greater than 4, okay, or greater than or equal to 4. Now if I add anything to this expression plus 6, that will also be greater than 10. Okay, so if you have question where you are given that 2x plus 3 is greater than 4, and it will ask which of these followings are correct, and one of those options are like 2x plus 9 greater or equal 10, so you know that this is correct. But what if we add different numbers? Let's say we add 2x plus 3 plus 4, we don't know the sign here, and 4 plus 10. If we add smaller number to this side, then the sign will not change. But if we add bigger number, when we have expression with variables, here variable is x, here we added 4, but this side we added 10. Remember? So what's happening? Will this relation change or not? We don't know. It might change because we are not adding the same number to the both sides. So always remember, you have to add or subtract the same number from the both sides. Okay? If we are adding a bigger number to this side and a smaller number to this side, the relationship will not change. Let's say if I add 4 plus 3, you can say that it's always greater than this number. But if we are adding any number bigger than 4 here, let's say 6, or any number like 5, 10, anything, in that case we don't know whether it's going to same or not. Here we can solve and we can find, but I'm saying in general, here like if you are given this expression, you can find the value of x and determine what happens if we add 6. Will the relationship change or not? But for some unknown relation where you have 2 or 3 variables and you are adding or subtracting different number to the both sides, in that case it might happen that relationship will change. Okay, so keep in mind when you are working on the problems based on equality, you have to add the same number to the both sides. In that case, the sign will not change. This sign will not change. If you are adding different number, then it might change. In that case, you have to first solve for the unknown, the x and y variables, and then you find, okay, what happens if I add a smaller number here, if I add a bigger number, will the relationship change or not? Okay. Now let's move to the multiplication and division. Same as basic example, 4 greater than 3. Now if I multiply this number by a positive number, 4 times 2 and 3 times 2, will the relationship change? No, it's 8 and 6. It's still greater than 6. Okay, 8 greater than 6. Now think about negative number. Let's multiply 4 by -1 and 3 by -1. -4 -3. Did the relationship change? Yes. So -3 is bigger than -4. You know why? You learned in the like when we were discussing about the negative numbers, you learned why -3 is bigger than -4. Do you remember? So it's like here. Let's go back. This is 0. This is -1, -2, -3, and -4. So which one is closer to 0? -3. That's why this number is bigger than this one. So you go this side, you will get a smaller number. And we discussed why. Okay, I'm not going to discuss right now, but we already discussed why. If we go this side, the number will be smaller. So what is happening here? If we multiply by a positive number, the relationship will not change. But if we multiply by negative number, the relationship will change. Same thing with the division. Say 8 greater than 6. If we divide 8 by 2 and 6 by 2, the relationship will not change. 4 greater than 3. It remains the same relationship. But what happens if we divide by negative number? 8 divide -2 divide by -2. It becomes -4 and it becomes -3. The relationship changes. So in case of multiplication and division, you have to remember that you have to multiply by positive number or divide by positive number. In that case, the relationship will not change. But if you multiply or divide by a negative number, the relationship will change. Okay? Now let's talk about the inverse. Okay. 4 is greater than 3. The same example. Inverse means you take 1 by 4, 1 divided by that number, that will give you the inverse. Correct? 1 by 3. Will it change? Which number is bigger? 1 by 3. So, when you take the inverse, the relationship changes. Correct? Now, think about negative number. -3 greater than -4. Okay? And if I take the inverse, -1 by 3 -1 by 4. So which number is bigger? Which one? Okay. So let's see here. 0 -1. -1 by 4 here. -1 by 3 will be somewhere here. -half will be here. Correct? So now tell me which number is bigger. The number which is close to 0. -1 by 4 is close to 0, not -3. So what happened? The relationship changed. Correct? So remember, for the inverse, the relationship will change. It doesn't matter positive or negative number. Okay. So if you have a question where it says if 2x plus 3 is greater than 5, what will happen? 1 divided by 2x plus 3 and 1 by 5. Which one will be bigger? So what we just learned, this relationship will change in case of inverse. Okay. Now let's talk about number line. It's nothing, just like representing the numbers on the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3 and -4. Okay, so what we have learned that if we go to this side, the number increases. Okay, if we go to this side, it decreases. Okay, so if there is some relationship like -1 is less than 1, so it means the number which is less than, it will be on the left side. Okay, any number that is smaller will always be on the left side of the number line with respect to the other number. Okay, now if something is greater than, let's say 2 greater than -2, so it means if something is greater with respect to something, okay, that something here 2 will always be on the right side. The basic concept of the number line. Anything on the right side, as you go to the right side, the value increases. As you go to the left side, the value decreases. So if you represent the inequality on the number line, that's what you have to do. Check the position of the number where it lies. Like if you have two numbers, let's say you are learning negative numbers and you don't know -4, -6, what is the relationship between these two, whether -6 is bigger or -5 is bigger. Because in terms of positive number, you learn that 6 is greater than 5, but what if you have -5 and -6? It's simple. Draw a number line and see the position. So it's here is -5 and here is -6. So which one is on the right side? This guy is on the right side. This is right side, this is left side, correct? And what we learned, if a number is on the right side with respect to the number, that number will be bigger than the other number. So here -5 is bigger than -6. Now if I add something, so let's say this relationship -4 and 2, this one. So -4 is less than 2 because -4 is on the left side and 2 is on the right side. So what happens if we add something? Let's say I add 2, -4 plus 2 and 2 plus 2. So if I add 2 on the number line, so basically we are moving 2 steps ahead. So we reached here by adding 2, and similarly here we are just moving 2 steps ahead. 1 step, 2 step. So 2 plus 2, 4. So the same thing what we learned previously. You add anything, the relationship will not change, because you are moving in the same direction for both the numbers. You got it? Now let's talk about the transitivity. So it says if A is greater than or less than B and B is less than C, in that case A will be less than C. if these two are given, A less than B and B less than C, then you can say that A is also less than C. Correct? For example, let's say 5 less than 6 and 6 less than 8. You can say that 5 is less than 8. Correct? Now, same thing, think on the number system, number line. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and minus 5. So if I say minus 2 is less than minus 1 and minus 1 is less than 3, it means minus 2 is less than 3, which is obvious. Minus 2 is here and 3 is here. So what relations are given? Minus 2 is less than minus 1, this one, and 1 is less than 3. So you can say that here, see, minus 2 is on the left side of minus 3. That's why minus 2 is less than 3. So this is the basic relationship. If you have two relations given like this, A less than B and B less than C, in that case A will be less than C. If you take the inverse of the, not inverse, like opposite relation, if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, what will happen? If A is greater than B and B is greater than C, it means A is also greater than C. Let's take an example. 6 greater than 5, 5 greater than 4, correct? A is 6, B is 5. So 6 greater than 5, 5 greater than 4. We can say that 6 is also greater than 4. So if you have two relationships like this, you can say that third is, you can derive the third one. So you got the basic things. Let's recap now. So inequality means you don't have the equal relationship. It's not like 2 equal to 2, 3 equal to 3, or 4 equal to 4. So you have either greater than sign or less than sign, or greater equal sign or less equal sign. When you have just greater sign, it's called strict inequality, or less sign, it's strict inequality if you have greater equal or less equal, which is, so this is greater sign, this is less than sign, okay? So this is strict, okay? And when you have greater equal or less equal, this is non-strict. So in case of expression, you will have this kind of relationship, but in case of constant numbers, you will have this, okay? But 4 cannot be greater equal 3. It can be just greater than 3, not equal to 3. And when we add something to an equality, the action of relationship does not change. Whether you are adding positive number or negative number, doesn't matter. If it's greater than, it will remain greater than. If it's less than, it will remain less than. Same is true with the subtraction operation. You are subtracting some number from both sides, the relationship will not change. In case of multiplication, if you are multiplying by a positive number, the relationship will not change. So if you have 5 greater than 2, if you are multiplying by any positive number, let's say multiply by 3, the relationship, this relationship greater than relationship will not change. But if you are multiplying by a negative number, the relationship will change. Okay? Got it? In case of inverse, when you take the inverse, the relationship will change. So if you have 6 greater than 5, if you are taking the inverse, 1 by 6 will be less than 1 by 5. And for the transitivity, we just discussed, like if you have true relationship, A less than B or A greater than B, or B less than C, in that case you can say that A is also less than C and B B greater than C, you can say that A greater than C. So this is transitivity. Okay. So you got the basic idea about the inequality. Got it?